Hey there, beautiful soul adventurers. This is Laura from Into the Moon House. I'm a spiritual life coach, teacher, and healer, and I'm all about bringing out your unique gifts and talents so you can live your life based on, who you are and what is suited to you. And today I want to talk a little bit more about a sacred self, and especially um, if you are a spiritual seeker, if you are a soul explorer, if you've been interested in, finding your goals or finding meaning, you're going to get to this point at some day. Maybe you're there, maybe you've already had this, or again, maybe, you're right at that point right now. And I'd love to talk a little bit more about how to recognize this and how to move through this. So let's first talk a little bit more about how to recognize this. Are you in this phase? Yes or no? Did something come full circle? Now, roughly, because I have to say roughly, because of course, there's much more gray area, but roughly this comes down to two categories. One is if you've been working towards what I call smaller goals. It's not that like they're of less importance, but it's easier to get there in a sense, or it's just one goal or one life area. Examples are like changing jobs or getting a new job, finding a loving and supportive relationship. Those can all be goals, and maybe you went out for your quest to get that thing to get that thing into your life, and right now you've got it. You've got that career, you've found a passion that you up leveled into doing a course about it. You changed career maybe, or you've got that job, whatever it is, whatever you wanted to manifest, or you wanted to get out and do and draw into your life, you've got it. So yes, so that can be one thing. Now, if you really fall into the soul exploring categories, and you're one of those people that it's always about the insight, it's always about your motives, it's always about a deeper understanding, it's always about knowing that you have a purpose here, and that you are a unique soul and you can live out what is unique to you. And you've always had questions about relationships, about connections, about like, who am I? What are my gifts, my talents? What makes me tick? But those are the really big life questions, right? So, and it normally works a little bit different if you get to a new level of this. Yes, because you've gained knowledge as well. But you, at some point, this is good news. Also, if you're still seeking, at some point you're going to receive the answers you've asked for. So maybe you indeed are at that point that you've went so deep within yourself. You've learned so much about how the universe works, how you work, what is important to you, what is not important to you, that now you can let go in a sense. You figured out your own puzzle. Um, and it can be a little bit weird because normally, okay, so these are life sequences that can sometimes take almost your full life, um, but not necessarily. And when something comes full circle, it can very well be that you lived it. You've done it, you've explored uh, everything about it, and now you're fulfilled with that, and all life is change and growth. So you may be getting ready for the next level now. So you roughly fall into one or two categories, and all of you are going to deal with this at one point in your life. Now, what to do first? So I'm going to give you 3 tips. First thing first, really honestly honor yourself, honor your journey, honor that all the things that you've learned. Maybe there was both pain and happiness, many ahas. Maybe it looks completely different than what you thought it would look like for you, but that's all okay. Take the time to honor yourself. Now, how can you honor your journey? It's obviously you want to pause, but you can also choose to create a ritual for this. Rituals are, and obviously with a background in more of the shamanism path and the witchcraft path, so the earthbound religions. Um, I'm very pro ritual because rituals are very important for our minds, for um, because the mind wants to end a story. It wants to have a logical sequence in it, and ritual in which we combine action, vision, because we create something nice like an altar. We allow ourselves to feel, and we create a physical space for it. All of those elements combined can make it so much easier for yourself. So maybe you want to do a letting go ritual, like sailing a little boat, but one that is not harmful for nature, yeah, onto the river, onto the oceans, in which you write down your goodbye. Maybe you want to cook a special meal for yourself, like a Last Supper kind of meal. And again, maybe you're really celebrating because it's something nice and you got there. And that's also hard for, actually, sometimes it's harder for people, allowing yourself to have that thing. So whatever it is for you, celebrate or take time to process the lessons if it felt like a loss to you. So then you work with grief. And then if you can go over all the things you've learned, either about yourself, all the amazing things you've done, or maybe it was like big life lessons. And again, you just come full circle, and you couldn't have gotten to the point where you are now if you wouldn't have walked that path. And that's hindsight, and sometimes it can be annoying. It's like, only I knew, but you don't, because you have to walk the path to grow, to get to that level, to get to that understanding, and then you can choose again. So that's the third one. And the third tip is you can now start to choose again, because here's what's going to happen. And I see this for so much of my coaching clients, for the ones that worked with me longer, and we've removed blocks, and we've really worked towards what is important to them based on who they are. So again, and often that what you think suits you can be very different to what actually is a match for you. But we'll talk about that another time. But the cool stuff is, so they've got the love life, or they've got the dream house and the location, they've done the creative classes, for example, if they wanted to do creation, and they're now, all of them are at a next level. But it can feel, so if this is you too, this is why the honoring is so important. It's like, hey, I got and received so many things I've asked for. So that can be you. To see all the stuff that you've really gotten, that you've asked for. And then when you honor that, when you create space, then you're going to move to that next level. Maybe if it was more about the inner journey and about building your confidence and knowledge, you can now go to that next level. So you're going to start to grow whatever you've now created. And with growing, I mean, so you can allow it to grow bigger, so it becomes more of your normal. So it's just not a one-off. It's going to be, of course, it already is your life, but it's going to be more and more of that in your life. So you're just growing your foundation. And so think about that. If that's the same thing for you, just think about it. And just, if it feels confusing or weird, because like, what's next? What are my next steps? It's okay. Take the time to honor yourself, take the time to honor your lessons. And then at some point, you are going to start expanding again, especially if you're on that path of growth. That's, for some, that's the soul path. I'll talk about that another time too. But you're going to expand more and more. And what you've now created, you can grow. So it doesn't mean like it's going to go away again. you're now at the stage that you can hold that. You've created this stability and you're going to go to that next level. So let me know if you want me to talk more about this in the free Facebook group Into the Moon House. This is where you can connect with me. This is also where I give some spiritual guidance at times with card pulls. And obviously, if you want to connect with me more and more, like a 1-1, or you've got specific questions, then either look at the astrology roadmap, which is all about your unique gifts and talents, or maybe you want to step up, but there's blocks in the way, then healing sessions are for you. Okay, guys, I'm wishing you a very, very beautiful day. This was Laura from At Into the Moon House. And let me know your questions in comments below or on Instagram at Into the Moon House. Bye.